Hello, everyone. Gustavo Badell is an athlete who has won many major tournaments, twice took third place at the Olympia. He is still famous among bodybuilding fans as he competed in one of the most challenging and highly competitive bodybuilding eras. To take third place at a time when the magnificent Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler were on the throne was truly an incredible success. And besides Coleman and Cutler, Badell competed with such great athletes as Dexter Jackson, Victor Martinez, Denise James, Chris Cormier, and many other stars. And he defeated them more than once. And of course, bodybuilding fans certainly remember Gustavo for the fastest rise in the history of Olympia. From 24th place, he immediately turned into third place in the IFBB main event. Today, I want to tell you about Gustavo Badell and also recall the highlights of his career. The hero of the video was born on November 3, 1972 in Venezuela, although he lived all his life in Puerto Rico. Since childhood, he loved sports. At the age of 15, he began training in boxing and kickboxing. At first, he trained exclusively for himself, but after 2 years of training, he decided to compete in the ring. But for this, he needed to gain some weight and muscles because he was very thin. It's a familiar story for many athletes, you have to agree. Almost every future Mr. Olympia came to the gym because it was very small. The coaches advised the young Gustavo to start visiting the gym. Without hesitation, the athlete went to the gym. He started training regularly and with desperate, crazy dedication, and paid a lot of attention to nutrition. Very quickly, Gustavo got into good athletic shape, and many friends and even coaches advised him to become a bodybuilder. Badell, despite the fact that he loved training, still said that he would not do bodybuilding. "I'm a boxer," he said. Despite this, he was told that he had already gained too much weight for boxing. After some hesitation, Gustavo decided to try his hand at bodybuilding. He bought several magazines and books that described training schemes and diets and started working. The young boxer really loved bodybuilding, and 6 months later he won his first tournament. At that time, Sean Ray was the standard for Gustavo. Sean was the epithet of the perfect bodybuilder for many. His charisma attracted a lot of attention. He was always laughing. He performed artistically and was also a successful businessman. Then Gustavo started admiring Milo Sarcev. In addition, Milo soon became his coach, but Gustavo considered him more than a mentor. He saw him as a friend and even a brother. Sarcev taught the young champion a lot as he was more experienced and had a lot of knowledge. He changed the training schedule and nutrition as well as strengthened the weak points in posing. Gustavo is a great athlete. He lives in bodybuilding even if he doesn't rank high. Milo said in one of his interviews, "The first gym where Gustavo started working out was called the Iron Gym. It was an example of an old gym without trendy machines. The gym's arsenal consisted mainly of free weights. Many of the dumbbells were twisted. It was some kind of old, brutal, hard gym. But everyone liked it, including Gustavo. He didn't care who he trained with. The main thing was to train." By the way, our hero's height was 173 centimeters, and his competitive weight was 110 kilograms. And he has maintained approximately this form throughout his career. On November 25, 1997, in Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic, he competed in his first competition. It was an amateur championship. Gustavo became 10 out of 10 participants. The following year, he goes back to Europe to compete in the 1998 German Grand Prix and becomes 9th. The result is pretty good, especially considering the composition of this tournament. Ronnie Coleman, Kevin Levrone, Nasser El Sonbati, Chris Cormier, Milo Sarcev. Each of this company could easily claim, if not a victory, then a prize in the Olympia. But the next 3 years don't bring any positive emotions to Badell. He plays in various tournaments, such as the Night of Champions, the Ironman, World Championship, and competitions in the UK and Canada. And unfortunately, he can't even get into the top 10. He's aware of his form and understands that he needs to train harder. It was only in 2002, after almost 5 years of serious performances, that Gustavo finally won his first medals. He won the bronze medal at the Montreal Pro 2002. That evening, Badell defeated 20 professionals, among whom, however, the most famous and respected athlete was probably Darren Charles. The rest of the bodybuilders destroyed by Gustav were mostly little known to people. Art Atwood took the first place. Then Gustavo made his Olympia debut in 2002 and took 24th place among 20 participants. It was a real blow for an ambitious athlete. He was practically at the bottom. Below in 25th place was 48-year-old veteran Don Youngblood, the only contestant Gustavo defeated that night. Realizing the level that he lost in the main tournament in the world of professional bodybuilding, Badell begins to train with even more anger and will spend the whole 2003 in preparation and practically does not perform. Gustavo believes that the most difficult thing in bodybuilding is not training or a strict diet, but the fact that you become different from everyone else and you begin to be noticed and discussed. After that, a bodybuilder, especially a professional one, is very different from an ordinary person. You start to be visible everywhere, in the store, on the street, in the bank. Some people love it and many people compliment it. Others start talking about the hopelessness of muscles, steroids, and the like. It was very stressful, Badell recalled. Gustavo likes to work out his hamstrings the most. The athlete said, "People think I'm crazy, but I do 5 or 6 different hamstring exercises from special squats to wide lunges. I do this by concentrating on my hamstrings, as well as the other leg muscles. Sometimes I spend half of my training on these tendons." 2004, when Gustavo begins his trophy quest. He takes the bronze medals in the Ironman Pro, second only to Dexter Jackson and Lee Priest to get through it. He gets into the top 7 in the San Francisco Pro and Arnold Classic. He becomes the third at the Atlanta Power Pro show after Victor Martinez and Daram Charles. On October 30th, 2004, Gustavo approaches his second Olympia. That year, the organizers changed the rules of the tournament, and the final round was held in a duel format, when each participant challenges 5 of his rivals for comparison in a pose of his own choice. The result of the final round is not added to the results of the previous ones, but becomes the final decision of the tournament. Ronnie Coleman then conceded the only comparison with Jay Cutler, who chose a heavy pose. Cutler himself lost only to Coleman in the chosen pose and Dexter Jackson in the double bicep from behind. Dexter suffered the most from the previous round, and in the last round, Gustavo Badell defeated him. Incredibly, after failing at the 2002 Olympia and placing 24th, Badell became third behind Coleman and Cutler. An incredible rise, riding the wave of success, Gustavo starts next year with a long-awaited advantage, his first victory since he turned professional. On February 19, 2005, in Pasadena, USA, he will defeat Lee Priest, Troy Alves, and Melvin Anthony and become the winner of Ironman 2005. The 2004 to 2005 seasons are becoming the brightest in his career. This was confirmed by the Olympia 2005. There he is again very close to the top, where again as a year earlier 2 superstars Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler share, and right behind them is our hero. At the same time, Gustavo began to attract media attention. He became called the champion of the future Olympia and one of the best bodybuilders of all time. Our hero was featured in many fitness articles and also appeared on the cover of Flex magazine and numerous advertisements for sports nutrition manufacturers. And the following year, in 2006, the battle continues. He takes the gold at the San Francisco PRO by defeating Branch Warren. But in 2006, at the Olympia, he worsened the results of the last 2 years. This time, it's only the 6th time. In addition, Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler, who changed places that year, Victor Martinez, Dexter Jackson, and Melvin Anthony are above him. But still, 34-year-old Badell is good enough. 6th place in the IFBB main event is something that most competitive athletes can only dream of and never achieve. In 2007, our hero no longer wastes time on small tournaments, as at the beginning of his career does not go to tournaments around Europe, but decides to focus on preparing for the 2 main starts of the season, Arnold Classic and Mr. Olympia. In September 2007, Gustavo finished 4th at Arnold, defeating Phil Heath, Branch Warren, Marcus Rule, and Vince Taylor. The September Olympia will only bring him 8th place. Badell is no longer a novice, but he is still burning on stage and preparing for victories. Ironman Pro 2008 will bring only the second place, and the future seven-time Mr. Olympia Phil Heath will take the first. And if Heath is just starting out, then Badell's career is ending. He has only 2 Olympia left, but he's not giving up. He shows a good result for a veteran, getting into the top 10 in 2008. And Gustavo did not think to back down. On September 12, 2009, he won the Atlantic City Pro 2009 tournament. He ends his competitive career but does not stop training. He has not appeared on stage for 2 years, withdraws from competitions, and even becomes the new president. Federación de Físico-Culturismo y Fitness de Puerto Rico. But in 2012, already at the age of 40, he decides to experience the taste of competition again. He participates in the Arnold Classic but takes 13th place. This is not a surprise, given the level of this tournament. However, ending his career like this is not in Gustavo's nature. In April 2012, Gustavo flies to Madrid for the Mr. Europe Pro Tournament, and there he succeeds, slamming the door loudly at the end, defeating the future Mr. Olympia Brandon Curry. After that, he finally decides to give up performing. Gustavo competed in a huge number of competitions and often won, his highest achievement being 3rd place at the Olympia in 2004 and 2005. Gustavo has firmly and forever invested himself in the history of modern bodybuilding. He even made 2 films about himself and his workouts. In the last years of his life, Badell continued to work as a personal trainer, and there were many famous personalities among his clients. He was also the founder of 2 amateur annual bodybuilding shows. Unfortunately, on July 13, 2023, Gustavo Badell died at the age of 51. The cause of death was not disclosed. He will forever remain in the memories of bodybuilding fans as one of the most interesting bodybuilders of that era. As always, I will be grateful for your support. It helps in the development of the channel. Do not forget to click on the bell so as not to miss the new issue. Thanks for watching Sports Guru with you. See you later.